Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to motivate all of you guys who have been manifesting your desire for at least a while, and you are feeling demotivated, you are feeling discouraged because you feel like you're not seeing movement in the 3D. As a coach, as you can imagine, I hear that a lot, and obviously it's something that can be very discouraging for a lot of people. So in today's video, I want to help you see things and the whole concept of movement in the 3D in a very different way. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So what inspired me to make this video was a comment I had in one of my videos where the person commenting said, yes, I've been trying to apply the manifesting principles. Yes, I've been trying to live in the end. I've been trying to stay in the state of the wish fulfilled. I've been trying to apply the techniques, but it's so very difficult and so very challenging because I'm not seeing any movement in the 3D. And my response to that person and what inspired me to make this video today was, well, no one sees movement until they see movement. And that lit sort of a light bulb in my head because I realized the truth of these words and how this applies universally and across the board to all of us who are conscious manifestors, whether we are very advanced or whether we're just starting out or whether we're intermediate, somewhere in between. It applies to all of us. When we set out to manifest a new desire or whatever it might be, in the beginning, none of us is seeing any movement. What I told that person applies to every conscious manifestor on this earth. You don't see movement until you see movement. What does that mean in practice? It means that for at least a little while, at least until you start seeing movement in the 3D, you need to walk in faith. That's also in the Bible, and of course it's in Neville's teachings as well. We don't walk by sight, we walk by faith. Before we see movement in the 3D, before we see our desire unfolding before our eyes in the 3D, before we get to experience it with our senses, there is no movement in the 3D. There is no movement until there is movement. Please let that sink in for a moment. You're not going to have movement from the first second. You're not going to have movement from the first minute. You're not going to have movement perhaps the first day, the first week, the first month, maybe in some cases. That doesn't mean that movement isn't there. I've said in other videos, and I'm going to say it here again, your first movement, your first sign of movement is the shifts you're experiencing within. Because your outer world, your external world, is a mirror of who you are within, dominantly. That is your first movement. When you move internally, your external is also moving. You might not be seeing it for a while. Things may be happening behind the scenes. Things may be unfolding behind the scenes. Things might be rearranging themselves for you behind the scenes and you don't even see them. But the fact that you're experiencing those inner shifts, that, you guys, is movement. That is your first movement. And that is your first sign that your 3D, in due course, sooner or later, is going to change. But if you're going to base all your faith on the 3D, if you're not going to put any faith on the unseen, if you're not going to put any loyalty to the unseen and any focus and any attention on that, and if you're not going to persist in that, and have some patience, then yes, it's true that in the very beginning, you don't perceive it as there being any movement. And what you need to do in that case is stay loyal to the unseen. Walk by faith. This is inevitable, you guys. If you're a conscious manifestor, you are not looking at the 3D to give you evidence. You're not looking at the 3D to give you the clues and the cues as to how to react, how to feel, what to assume, what to believe, and so on. You are looking at your inner world. You are looking inside, you're looking within to tap into these things, to tap into these feelings, to create those feelings, to create those imaginal acts, to determine your new reality, to set the intentions for your new reality. You have to walk by faith for at least a little while. There is no other way, and until the 3D shows movement or until the 3D changes, you're not going to see movement, and that is universal for all of us. There is a time when we start manifesting a new desire that we're not seeing anything in the 3D. This is the time when we're creating our new reality. This is the time when we are tapping into it and channeling it from the 4th dimension to bring it into this thicker 3D world. And this is why a lot of the time you don't see movement immediately in the 3D, even though movement immediately gets created in the 4D. The 3D is a much more dense, much thicker, if you will, world. And because the 3D is also subject to physical laws, it might take a little while to see actual movement and experience it with your 5 senses. That doesn't mean there isn't movement, but you have to rely on your faith until that movement starts happening in the 3D. There is no other way. If you want to change your reality, if you want to be a conscious manifestor, you don't follow the 3D, you follow your world within. You follow your imagination. You follow the reality that you're creating within. The 3D is going to follow. But don't look out there trying to base your faith to what is out there, because what is out there is created based on what you have in here, and what you have as your assumptions, and what you have as your beliefs, and what your dominant energies, what your dominant perceptions is of a certain circumstance, a certain situation, certain person, certain relationship, your own self, of course. And so in a nutshell, don't base it all on what you see on the 3D. Don't base your faith on whether you're seeing movement or not. It might take a little while until you see movement, and that is okay. That is very common. In the meantime, you keep going within, you keep fulfilling yourself from within and granting yourself your desire from within. Sooner or later, the 3D is going to follow, and the 3D is going to show you movement. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.